Welcome to Boston Real Estate Times. Our guest today is Gary Kaufman. He is a co-founder of ABI-Labs, a wonderful story in today's life sciences real estate market. We are going to hear it directly from him. Gary, welcome to our studio.
Thank you for having me today.
Sure, at such a short notice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, first thing, we are looking forward to hearing you at our Life Sciences and Pharma and Biotech conference on April 17th. We'll share your story live with the audience there.
Looking forward to it.
Excellent. So, today, life sciences market is going through turmoil or tough oversupply, less demand. And with a new administration, we don't know what's going to happen with a lot of fundings, etc., in healthcare, etc. So, I am told that you guys are doing fantastic in this market. So, Gary, what is so unique about your concept?
I think the uniqueness is a couple of different things. Number one, we are all privately owned. It's myself and we have two other partners. We do not take any funding for any state or federal government, any university or college, all privately owned. That gives us a lot more flexibility to give to tenants. It gives us a lot of flexibility with regarding investors who want to make additional investments, cross collaboration between different tenants and investments between different tenants. So I think that's one of the biggest things that separates us.
So where does ABI-LAB story starts, and what is your secret formula?
I don't know if there's any secret formula. We started about 10 years ago. And we now have 4 buildings, about 150,000 square feet. We host.
This is a total of including 4 buildings.
Correct,
Okay.
of the all 4 buildings. We host over 50 companies now, mostly early stage, small companies, anywhere from 3 to 15 employees. Over the last, I would say 5 or 6 years, we've created about 2,000 jobs, including our graduates that have moved on to bigger pastures, moved back to Waltham, moved back to Burlington, Boston. And, they raised, generally speaking, we generally lose people when they raise $100 million.
Sure.
And they need 15, 20,000 square feet of space. We're not the 15, 20,000 square feet person. We're the 1,000 to 5,000 person.
Okay. Tell me about the uniqueness of the tenants, the type of tenants you serve.
So we serve a couple of different areas. One, of course, is research in different types of cancer immunology. We've also recently had a fair number of companies move in, which I would call eco, earth, life science areas, low nitrogen fertilizer, creating fuel and energy from waste on farms. We've got a company doing that. So sort of not what you would consider as sort of the standard therapy life science, but I guess on the outer areas of life science.
And what type of space you really provide?
So we like to say that we provide space that you move in today, you can start your science tomorrow. It's very important starting your science tomorrow for a lot of companies. In many towns, you have to wait 3 months to get a safety permit. In our town, we hold the safety permit building by building with the town of NATICK. We're responsible for that. So we do IBC meetings, for instance, as soon as companies move in. We do safety checks periodically. You have to operate in a very specific way with life science, and towns want to make sure you're doing that.
So the 4 buildings you have, they're all located in NATICK or they're in different towns?
No, they're all right there. They're all, in some cases, 100 feet apart from each other.
Okay.
It's a nice campus. It's a nice group of about 400 scientists, about 150 on a daily basis, maybe 400 on a weekly basis. But it's a good collaboration, and there's a lot of sharing of ideas and technologies.
So if I am a new startup, I have this great idea, I need some space to experiment my idea and have the proof of concept. I'm looking for affordable place. Why should I come to NATICK? Why not to Cambridge or Watertown?
I mean, the cost savings is one of the big reasons. Lifestyle choices, I think, is another reason. Sometimes tenants can save an hour each way on their commute. So instead of spending an hour and a half in the car to Cambridge or Boston, parking the car or walking from the train or something like that, they can drive to our facility. We have plenty of free parking, 1,200 spaces, I think, something like that. And they can, get that time back, that 2 hours every day with their family. I mean, affordability is the number one reason usually. Mm-hmm. The burn rate of these companies is so high. What the politicians in Washington don't tell you mm-hmm. is that it's $800 million to $1 billion to create one therapy. Mm-hmm. And it's 8 to 10 years also. Mm-hmm. And so what we try to do is we try to save you time. If we mm-hmm. can save you 3 to 6 months mm-hmm. in that whole process, we've just saved you a lot of money. And we also give you foundation equipment to utilize in your lab. So we're all private labs. Mm-hmm. Many places are not private. Many places you have a bench, and then you go to a room to use a biosafety cabinet, and you go to a separate room to use -80 freezers and a flow cytometer and so forth and so on. In our labs, it's all private. So you have all your private equipment in your space. Another advantage is the fact that we allow a lot of flexibility. Companies will increase their space. Sometimes they'll decrease their space also. We'll throw away a lease and we'll start a new lease. We're always happy to do that. And that's a big, big deal with companies, and especially with their investors, so that the investors know they're not locked into a space.
So, for example, surely I'm not familiar with your facility, mm-hmm. but to just give you an idea to our viewers is if I call you and say, look, I have 5 people, and these are my requirements for the space and type mm-hmm. of instruments and lab. Mm-hmm. What will be your response?
Well, I mean, like I said, you'll get 5 pieces of foundation equipment in your private lab. The foundation of life science generally is these 5 pieces of foundation equipment. Everyone needs them.
And you have those.
And we have them, and they're in your lab. Mm-hmm. Okay. Privacy, protection, IP protection is very important for most people.
Sure.
Some companies will move into our lab. They want to operate in stealth. They don't mm-hmm. want to be on the website. They don't even want the cleaners to come into their space. Mm-hmm. They want to operate in stealth because they need to extend their privacy if they can for a number of years, because the protection is only 18 years, I believe, with regarding IP protection when you file for your permitting.
Sure.
With the U.S. government.
So now let's talk about the 4 properties you have. Mm-hmm. And what is the vacancy or occupancy rate in those buildings? So
2 of the properties, it's 100%. Those are our smaller properties. One of the properties is the newest property that you visited the other day is 60%. That's our brand new building that just opened up January 1st. And our biggest property is about 85%. So overall, industry, or not industry-wide, but all 4 of our buildings were about 80% occupied.
That's very good in today's marketplace.
It is. But we're different. Mm-hmm. We're a little bit unique. Not only are we the affordable alternative, and not only are we much closer to where people are actually living, so they can regain 5 to 10 hours a week back to their life. What can they do with that? Can they work out at the health club? Can they spend more time with their family? Can they visit their son's or their daughter's football game or theater performance? So not only can they regain that 5 to 10 hours a week, but they save money and they get in a very nice space as well that they can start their science tomorrow.
So now, off the camera, you were talking about the 2 types of space. So
correct.
So throw some light on that.
So most of your developers, they want to rent you 20 to 50,000 square feet of space, and they want to check every month, and they're going to charge you, triple net, and that's it. They don't want to hear from you. They don't want to see you. That's it. We're managed space. This is very different. So myself and my team are there on a daily basis to help get problems off your shoulders so that you can focus on the science and save you time. The whole key, everything comes back to saving you time. And so, we're there to help you with the big deliveries. We're there to help you with electrical issues, with plumbing issues. New equipment might arrive with a 30 amp breaker, and you need a booster box, it's called, to create the conversion from 20 amp to 30 amp. This is a big problem for a lot of people. Equipment that arrives from Europe, from Germany, comes in with different types of electrical requirements. We can solve those problems very, very quickly.
Now, talking about the power, I think, power has become a big issue with these type of facilities. How equipped you are with the supply of power for your...
So we have plenty of power in our buildings, and then we also have backup generator power as well, which is really, really key. There are some facilities, I won't name them, but there are some facilities that don't even have backup generator power, which I'm like, that's crazy. How can you not have backup generator power? You have companies that sometimes have 2 to 5 years of their research that they need stored at minus 80 degrees all the time. It doesn't matter what the storm is outside, what the hurricane is outside. They can't even lose power for 5 minutes because that'll destroy 2 to 5 years worth of research. We have backup generators in every single one of our buildings. We have red plugs throughout our buildings that are the backup generator plugs, and people plug in all their refrigerators and freezers and incubators to those backup plugs because they know that even 5 minutes can destroy their experience.
What about security and safety?
So we have cameras in all the public areas that monitor all the public areas. We are, however, open 24/7. Science doesn't sleep. They say.
Sure.
There are even people who pull the short straw at their company, and they are there Christmas Eve for a couple hours. You drive by our building on a Saturday night at 10 o'clock. There's a couple of cars in the parking lot usually. People have to access the buildings.
So now I want you to look in your crystal ball and tell us how do you look at the type of space we're providing, and in general also the demand for the life sciences in the lab in Greater Boston area in the next 5 to 10 years.
So we've seen, ever since COVID, we've seen the business moving west. You're going to see a lot of the manufacturing, the reshoring of manufacturing, opening up in the middle part of the state because of real estate, because of it, the cost of employees, the cost of housing. You can't operate most businesses in Cambridge and Boston at your current burn rates, the monthly cost. You can't. And so also if you draw a point at Boston, you draw a point at Worcester, and you create a football, it's called. NATICK and Framingham is where you'd hold that football, the 3 lines of the football. This is the same distance if you look at what Silicon Valley is approximately from point to point. So we're right in the middle. So we think we're in a very good position. Also, the venture capitalists that were throwing money at companies for a long time, they're not throwing the money at the companies anymore.
Sure.
Don't build that mausoleum.
So how many tenants you have right now?
51 tenants, I believe. Yes.
How many of them do you have any idea how many are venture funded or self-funded, or mostly self-funded?
I would probably say 2/3 of them are getting venture capital money.
Venture capital.
Correct.
So they come there, they test their ideas and prove the concept, and then they get more funding, and then they move out.
Well, the benefit to our facility is that they can start with 300 to 500 square feet in one of our smaller spaces. And then they can go to 1,000 square feet. And then they can go to 5,000 square feet. When they get to about 10,000 square feet, it's usually the time where we can't offer them any more expansion space. And so they usually grow. So 3 to 5 years is usually how long people stay.
Sure. So your the model of operation is going to remain the same in the near future for the next 5-10 years?
Correct.
1,000 to 5,000?
Correct. We have that flexibility that
sure.
most people do not have. And the venture capitalists love that flexibility.
Sure. Now, do you have plans to buy other buildings and do the similar type of stuff, or?
So we own 40 acres of land right there.
Okay.
At Sherwood Plaza, that whole business park there. So we do have plans to possibly develop one more building. We're not sure. It's going to be 2 or 3 years from now before we go down that road, though.
Sure. Okay. Gary, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
And we'll see you on April 17th.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Excellent.